against Islamic terrorism, we have to maintain our values. And what he proposed, that's a proposition, is not a serious proposition at all. I've just laid out comprehensive plans to destroy ISIS, which would solve this problem, and to deal with the refugee challenges. And he's playing you guys like a fine Stradivarius violin. This is what he does. He's an expert at this. He's phenomenal at garnering attention.
That was Governor Jeb Bush slamming his competitor Donald Trump after the Republican frontrunner recently suggested banning all Muslims from entering the U.S. as a way to keep us safe from would-be terrorists. So what exactly is Governor Jeb Bush's plan to keep terrorism at bay? The former governor of Florida and Republican candidate for president, Jeb Bush, joins me now. Governor, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be with you, Megyn.
So let me just start on the comment that you made there. He's playing all you guys like a violin, is basically what you said. I mean, do you believe this is an orchestrated campaign to get himself back into the headlines? Oh,
of course. He wants to, his tactic is to dominate the news so that other people's voice can't be heard. And it's very effective. I mean, he's a master at it.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever come close to mastering that art form like he has.
Do you think he thinks of what is the most outlandish thing I could say?
Exactly.
And not a serious proposal, then?
Look, it's not a proposal, it's a sentiment. It's a way to fulfill people's deep anxiety and fear. People are legitimately scared. The President of the United States gives a speech on Sunday that was beyond uninspiring. The only animated part was gun control. When we're under attack, we're at war, at least by our enemy. They think we're at war. We're trying to, impose a law enforcement operation on top of them, and they're declared war on us. And so Trump is a master at this. But the simple fact is, he doesn't have a plan. He's not serious, and he's jeopardizing our ability to create a strategy to take out ISIS. The way to deal with this problem isn't to ban Muslims coming into our country. It's to destroy ISIS, plain and simple.
So what about the immigration issue when it comes to some Muslims then? Because now we know that this female terrorist got in. She was already radicalized. She gets in on a marriage visa. And now we find out that there's been an admission that some ISIS operatives are trying to use the Syrian refugee crisis to get into the United States.
Absolutely.
So that's why Americans are saying, wait, whoa, maybe we do need to pause.
Exactly. And I think we should pause. I don't think we should
on Syrian refugees.
Exactly. And we should also pause and make sure, like our visa waiver program, we have European countries, citizens who could be radicalized, that could have easy access to our country. We have to adapt our policies to the fact that we are at war. There's nothing wrong with that. But then to have a blanket indictment for 1 billion people, is that really a serious plan? All Indonesians are not allowed into our country. Canadians that happen to be Muslims aren't allowed into our country. That is ridiculous. And it sends such a chilling signal to our allies that we're no longer serious. Mm-hmm. How do you expect an ally, which we need to build an alliance. We can't do this ourselves. To take out ISIS. How are they going to do it if they believe that Donald Trump's going to be president? I don't think he will be, but it sends a pretty powerful signal. I mean, Prime Minister Netanyahu today said that it's not a serious idea. There hasn't been a single leader in the world that suggests that's the right approach.
Well, it's amazing to see foreign leaders speaking out about the proposals of one presidential candidate. He's not even the president. He's a candidate. I want to move on from that because I want to ask you about your plan today. And you tell me whether I'm wrong. To me, it looks a lot like former President George W. Bush's plan when it comes to intelligence and surveillance to keep the country safe.
Yeah, absolutely. After 9/11, I think he built a infrastructure to protect us, and this president has reversed those things. Not just the Patriot Act.
What percentage of it would you say has been dismantled by this president?
Well, it's the tactics of intelligence gathering that has been restricted.
The CIA black sites and the interrogations there. That's
definitely changed, and that might not be necessarily a bad thing. The times have changed, but
the NSA surveillance program.
That's changed, and then thirdly that people have civil liberties outside. Our terrorists have effectively a version of civil liberties. Mm-hmm. That you have to have compelling proof to be able to surveil outside the country. These are memorandums that have been designed by the White House on top of our intelligence community, on top of our military community, that puts hands tied behind their back.
But what about those who say, if the NSA program had been in place, it was in place out in California for years, while these two were out there harboring, their plans, and it didn't detect them?
Well, that misunderstands what the metadata program is. It is a database from which you can identify the possibilities of attack. Mm-hmm. If you eliminate that, then you're never going to be able to get to the needle in the haystack. Mm-hmm. By eliminating the haystack, how are you going to find those cases? I think we need to use every tool. There's not any evidence that there's been a violation of civil liberties. Look, we're at war. These people want to destroy our way of life. We look out behind you and you see New York. even in spite of the great law enforcement efforts and intelligence efforts that take place in this city, it is vulnerable to attack. And everybody knows it now. And this president hasn't led. And Hillary Clinton hasn't offered anything different. And Donald Trump is mirroring what they believe.
Governor Jeb Bush, thank you.
You bet.